Hi, good day to everyone. Since 3 days tayo, cancellations of classes due to inclement weather. So, the school required us to do this na to create a video lesson for us or for you para hindi kayo malate sa mga topics na meron tayo. Again, we are in second quarter written part. So, our topic for this today is all about metabolism and enzyme. So for this module 8, we have different types of learning objectives. Number 1 is to explain what is metabolism. Secondly, describe the anabolism and catabolism. And third is describe the components of enzyme. And then fourth po or lastly, determine how factors such as pH, temperature, and substrates affect enzyme. So now, for the introduction, let us know muna what is metabolism and what is the purpose of metabolism. So, all organisms on Earth have cells that metabolize energy to support life. Paano sila nagme-metabolize? Through metabolism process. In human body, we have stomach and mouth that is part of metabolism or digestion. When we intake foods, definitely mag-undergo na siya ng digestion. And that is the source of metabolism process, which is yung nutrients or yung mga foods or molecules na yon, diretso yun sa sa large intestine natin to small intestine, papunta sa red blood vessels natin, papunta into different parts of our body. And the energy we can get in that, we use that for sustaining as a fuel na magagamit natin for everyday life. Yes, it's depend on how strong the polysaccharide is bago siya metabolize. Kasi there are times like what I have discussed kanina, last time, if polymers ang usapan, napakahirap niyang i-digest. And mostly, the polymers po ay nai-store sa body natin as adipose tissue. So, yun po yung tinatawag natin na stored energy or most commonly as potential energy. While doon naman po sa mga monomers, ito na yung tinatawag natin na mas madali siyang i-breakdown kasi mas simple yung mismong bonding ng mga molecules, which is diretso na kagad siya at na-convert na kagad into energy na we can use every day po. So, that is the purpose of metabolism, is to break down and to have an energy that can fuel us for everyday activities na gagawin natin. So, what goes in and what goes out? If we intake oxygen, definitely the byproduct of that is carbon dioxide. So, if we intake 830 grams of oxygen, well, definitely we will going to have a byproduct na carbon dioxides na at least 1.140 grams or 1,140 grams of carbon dioxide. While we intake waters naman, 3,300 grams. Definitely, it goes out or excreted with different ways. It's either evaporated through sweat or breath or through urine. And if we intake dry foods, we have phases of goes out or excreted na 300 grams. And then, if we intake chemical energy, definitely magkakaroon tayo ng byproduct na heat. Paki-remember po this one na kapag biochemistry ang usapan, and if we wanted to calculate a certain energy in our body, we use the word cal as our unit. Lagi po siyang cal. It's either kilo or kilocalories or cal. Basta calories po ang usapan. Kasi nasa biochemistry tayo. Even though in physics, kapag energy ang usapan, it's either newtons ang ginagamit natin. But somehow, here in biochemistry, we use calories. So, metabolism is a series of chemical reaction in the body that can convert foods into energy. So last topic we have is major biological molecules. Yung major biological molecules, meron tayong apat. They are the main source of energy that can fuel our body para mas mag-function siya for daily activities na meron tayo. So again, we have 4. That is amino acid, carbohydrates, proteins, and then nucleic acid. And every sets of biological molecules na meron tayo sa apat na yon, they have different kinds of function. So, metabolism is important in maintaining the living states of the cells and thus the organism. Kasi kung wala tayong metabolism, definitely, walang sustaining of energy or walang fuel na pagkukunan. So again, in human body, we have stomach and mouth that is part of digestion. While in cell naman po, we have lysosome. Si lysosome yung nagdadigest ng mga biological molecules na pumapasok inside the cell. And then si Golgi apparatus naman yung nagpapak to send it with different parts of the cell organelles. In metabolism po, again, ito ay napahapyawan ko na from first quarter pa. We have 2 types of metabolism. That is catabolism and then anabolism. So when we say catabolism, from larger molecules, we break into smaller ones. Kumbaga, kung meron tayong polymers, so binibreak natin siya as monomers. While si anabolism naman po, ito yung monomers na pinagsasama-sama natin para maging polymers. Kumbaga, from simple unit, ina-assemble natin siya into larger ones. So, ang kaibahan lang po, si catabolism, nagre-release siya ng energy, while si anabolism naman po is nag-e-intake ng energy to build up or assemble its parts para maging larger one. So again, catabolism is a process involves the breaking down of molecules to release energy. So like what I have discussed last time, dun po sa ATP process, 'di ba? We have an ATP. And sa ATP po, meron tayong 3 phosphate group. Kapag na-breakdown yung isang phosphate from 3 bindings, nag-release siya ng ATP, that is on hydrolysis process. Pero kapag tayo ay mag-a-add na naman po ng phosphate group or ng phosphate dun po sa ADP natin, kasi from ATP magiging ADP siya, so definitely mag-a-undergo yan ng anabolism, which is in other process, tinatawag natin siya na as phosphorylation process. So that is the purpose of catabolism. Una, to break down the molecules and release energy. And the energy that we can get in that process, we use that as our fuel para masustain natin yung energy na kailangan ng body natin for everyday activities. So, catabolism reaction, una, meron tayong breaking down of polysaccharides into monosaccharides to generate energy. So, again, there are certain phenomena that we should in place with this kasi si polysaccharide, sometimes it needs a lot of energy to break down into smaller pieces. Kasi si polysaccharide, the more na mas mahaba yung bond niya, the more na mas mahirap siyang i-break down. And then, the more na mas mahaba ang change ng isang molecules or yung pagkakabond, the more na mas unstable yung energy na meron siya, which is para maging stable, we have to catabolize or metabolize that kinds of bond para maging stable po yung molecules. Secondly, breaking down of nucleic acid into nucleotides for transmitting genetic information. So again, si protein po, basic unit niya or simple unit niya si amino acids. Si amino acids ay binubuo or siya yung bumubuo kay nucleotides na kailangan natin for certain DNA process. So, bawat codons natin kinakailangan ng 20 nucleotides para mabuo siya. Then thirdly, breakdowns of proteins into amino acids either to make new ones or produce glucose in the blood. And then thirdly is breakdowns of foods in the stomach for nutrients to be absorbed into the blood vessels. So again, depende po iyon. Kung ma-absorb kaagad siya ng bloods. Most commonly, yung certain molecules na na-absorb kaagad ng blood is yung mga monomers kasi sila yung mas madaling i-breakdown. While for those polysaccharides naman po, most commonly, sila po ay na-stored as adipose tissue. Example po is yung triglycerides. So, sa triglycerides, since they are considered as polysaccharides, most commonly, sila ay nagiging adipose tissue or fats natin na can be stored for a long time and can be used as potential energy. Then lastly, the energy released in catabolic reaction is stored in ATP to be used in anabolic reaction. So again po, pag-usapang energy in the body, lagi lang po iyang adenosine triphosphate or ATP po. Wala na pong ibang term. Lagi pong ATP process po or ATP po ang nagiging byproduct. Secondly is to discuss anabolism. So anabolism means building things or substance in the body. So this process requires and consume energy to allow the building process to proceed in anabolic reaction. So kung si catabolism nagre-release ng energy again, si anabolism naman po ay it needs to have an energy or to use energy para mag-build up or mag-assemble yung parts niya into larger one. Bakit nga ba natin kailangan ng anabolism? Una, building proteins. So large complex molecules form amino acid to simple molecules. Kalawa, cell reproduction where cell multiply to increase tissues or organs. Ikatlo, mineralize of bones from inorganic substance. Again, yung cell na tawag natin with the bones na meron tayo, inside the bones is osteosis. And then fourthly, production of hormones necessary for certain organs to perform their functions. Anabolism and catabolism are both vital process inside with our human body. Kasi po, si anabolism, siya yung nag-perform to larger one, and then si catabolism naman po, siya yung nag-maintain nung parts na yon. So, this building up with balance by catabolism, which is break down the substance, the more na naging state yung balance ng katawan natin, the more na magpa-function tayo ng maayos. So, may taga-sira at merong tiga-ayos, kumbaga. So, now, let's have to know what is enzyme. Si enzyme po ay napakalaking tulong niya with regards to metabolism or chemical reaction with our body. Kasi, kagaya ng nabanggit ko kanina, we have two types of metabolism, which is the catabolism and anabolism. May isang taga-sira at saka may isang taga-ayos. Now, si enzyme po ay nagiging catalyst para mas mabilis po yung chemical reaction ng body natin, pero less yung consume na energy. Syempre. So, yun yung purpose ni enzyme. So, we have different components of enzyme. Typically, enzyme is composed of protein called apoenzyme and non-protein called cofactors. Pag sinabi po nating apoenzyme, si enzyme po kasi is parang puzzle po. Si apoenzyme po, pag sinabi natin siyang apoenzyme, ibig sabihin wala pa po itong cofactors. Now, pag sinabi naman po nating holoenzyme, ito na po yung part kung saan Si apoenzyme ay meron na siyang cofactors. Again po, kapag whole na po yung product or yung enzyme, yan po ay kinukonsist po ng cofactors tsaka apoenzyme. Ang tawag natin doon is holoenzyme. Pero kung holoenzymes pag apoenzymes pa lang po yan po ay protein pa lang po. Ibig sabihin, inactive pa siya. So now, kailangan natin ng cofactor para maging activated siya, which is non-protein po iyon. And then, if ever, yung dalawa is nagsama na, ang tawag na natin doon is holoenzyme. Apoenzyme can be called as proenzyme when it is inactive, which means either it is not attached to any substance or the enzyme it is original form. Kung wala, kumbaga, it has para pa lang siyang piece of puzzle na wala pang naka-attach na cofactors sa kanya. So, inactive pa siya. Para maging active tong apoenzyme na to or proenzyme, it needs to have cofactors. So, si cofactors po kasi is non-protein, while si apoenzyme po, siya po ay protein. Made up of protein po. Now, the cofactors on the other hand assist apoenzyme in their biological activities. Kumbaga, sa pictures na makikita ninyo, yung yellow po, that is apoenzyme or proenzyme. While yung pink na nakikita ninyo dyan, that is cofactors, which is yung mag-a-activate. Para siyang puzzle na it needs to be place in a right place po para maging activated, or para din siyang lock na kailangan ng key para maging activated, which is yung key natin is the cofactors, and then yung mismong lock natin, that is proenzyme. Pag pinagsama na silang dalawa, ang tawag na natin doon is holoenzyme. Now, si cofactors po, dalawa po kasi siya. It's either made up of inorganic tsaka organic. So, alam naman natin sa chemistry, meron tayong two types of branches or sub-branches ng chemistry. It's either inorganic or organic. So, now, pag sinabi natin cofactors inorganic po, dyan po papasok yung mga metals elements natin or metal ions. Katulad po na meron tayo dito. Meron tayong magnesium, zinc, potassium, sodium, copper, yan po ay mga metal ions under inorganic compound. So, paano nga natin ulit malalaman yung mga inorganic compound? Nasa periodic table po. So, meron tayong mga metals, transitions metals na meron dyan. So, coenzymes are organic molecules that usually came from the vitamins that you take in everyday life. So, again, kapag sinabi naman pong cofactors na under organic, ang tawag natin doon ay coenzyme. Pero kapag sinabi pong cofactors under inorganic, ang tawag natin doon is supposedly metal ions kasi consist siya ng mga metals elements. So, again, coenzymes are organic molecule that is usually came from the vitamins that you intake or we intake in everyday life. So, like metal ions, activators, they are temporarily bind to apoenzyme. So, hindi sila nagtatagal. They are just temporarily. Then, meron din tayong tinatawag na prosthetic cofactors. This is under organic cofactors po. Kasi, si organic cofactors po under coenzyme, dalawa lang yung purpose niya. It's either magbaband siya or magre-release. So, now, kapag nagband yan, ang tawag natin doon ay prosthetic cofactors. Can be either metal ions or organic molecules. The only difference is that they bond to apoenzymes permanently. So, meron tayong different sets of kinds of cofactors na nakalist dito. We have vitamin A, thiamine, vitamin B, B2, that is riboflavin, vitamin B6, that is pyridoxine, and then vitamin B12. Again, si vitamin B12, hindi kagad siya basta-basta nare-release ng katawan natin. That's why we have to intake this with different sources. So, most commonly kasi, si vitamin B12, yun, hindi siya kayang produce. That's why yung katawan natin, it needs to have symbiotic process with E. coli. Biotin, folic acid, vitamins E, and then vitamin K. So, they are considered as coenzyme po. So, when apoenzyme and the cofactors are bound, they form an enzyme complex called holoenzyme. Again po, para hindi po malito, kapag yan ay single pa lang, inactive pa lang yung piece niya, katulad na nakikita natin dito sa first picture, that is what we call apoenzyme. Yung activators natin, yan ay kinukonsider as non-protein, which is, tawag natin doon ay cofactors or coenzyme. Then, kapag nag-attach na po sila, yung dalawang yun, consider na natin siya as holoenzyme or whole enzyme na po, which means active na po siya. Note, not all enzymes are proteins. Some enzymes are also made of RNA molecules. Example of these are the ribosome, and then which synthesize the proteins in ribosome of cells. So again, ginagamit natin si enzyme for catalytic reaction of chemical reaction in our body. So, activation of energy. The amount of energy required to simulate the reaction is called the activation energy. This term was coined by Swedish scientist Svante Arrhenius in 1989 to describe the minimum amount of energy needed to start any chemical reaction. The activation energy is essential to control the spontaneous degradation of molecule which within the cell. Diba gumagamit tayo ng BMI and then to calculate kung tayo ba ay malnourished or overweight or obese. Meron namang tinatawag na BMR. Mamaya madadiscuss ko si BMR, which is ito yung process kung saan ika-calculate natin yung amount of calories na ini-intake natin. Activation of energy, enzyme allow reaction to take place under mild condition only to bring reactants into contact with another enzymes to do not affect the amounts of energy of the reaction product or reactants. They only lower their energy activations. Kumbaga, main purpose the enzyme, nilalower niya lang yung mismong energy activations process natin during the time of metabolism or digestion. So, enzyme substrates and complex. Reactants is enzymatic reactions are called the substrates for the enzymes. To illustrate this diagram, a substrate combined with enzymes to form an enzyme substrate. So, kumbaga kanina, kung meron na tayong enzymes, it needs to be bound with substrate. So, si substrate, that is another kinds of cofactors or coenzyme, which is magiging activate or magiging may-use natin siya for catalytic process or catalytic chemical reactions in our bodies during metabolism process. So, enzyme analogy. The common analogy used in illustrating an active site is the lock and key relationship. Kasi nga, yung lock is what we call apoenzyme or proenzyme, and the key, that is the coenzyme na meron tayo, and kapag nagsama sila, that is what we call holoenzyme or whole enzyme. Factors affecting enzymatic speed. So, meron ding different kinds of factors na nakaka-apekto with regards to enzymatic speed ng enzyme natin. So, it's either temperature, level of pH, kasi we have different kinds of parts of our body, especially kung nasa pancreas yan. So, medyo acidic talaga yung katawan natin that time, or mas medyo acidic doon. So, definitely, nakaka-apekto din yun with regards to enzyme. For enzymes to be fully operational, they require specific condition. In some instances, enzymatic reactions are increased more than 10 million times in condition are favorable. So, the rate of reaction is the amount of product that is produced per unit time. There are major factors that affect the catalytic function of enzymes. It's either temperature, substrate concentration, optimal pH, enzymes cofactors, and enzymes inhibitors. So, unahin natin yung mismong temperature. As the temperature arises, molecules are more inclined to react because they have more kinetic energy. So, pasok natin dito si what we call kinetic energy. So, the more kasi na mas init, it means mas mabilis gumalaw yung molecules. Heat creates more successful and more effective collision between the substrate and the enzymes. Every organism have certain temperature at which an enzyme's catalytic reaction it is greatest for. So, yung normal temperature ng body natin, that is 37.5. Pero kapag more than 37.5 na yan, definitely makaka-apekto na yun with regards to enzymatic process na meron tayo. And more than, or most commonly, kinukonsider na tayo na may sakit with that. So, enzymatic activity declines rapidly because the change in the structure of enzyme can no longer accommodate the shape of the substrate. So, the more na mas tumataas yung temperature, the more na mas nasisira yung structure ng apoenzyme natin, which is hindi na siya kayang makapag-accommodate ng ng cofactors natin or coenzyme. So, yun lang po ang tatandaan. Kapag nabago yung temperature or nagkaroon ng changes in temperature sa atin, nasisira or nade-deform or dumadaan sa denature yung structure ng mismong enzyme natin, which is hindi niya na kayang mag-accommodate ng cofactors. So, if ever hindi niya na kaya mag-accommodate ng cofactors, definitely wala nang catalytic chemical reaction na mangyayari. Kalawa is the endothermic. So, endothermic warm-blooded animals keep their internal heat into balance, allowing the enzyme to perform faster and more effectively. So, kung mapapansin natin yung mga hayop na nakatira sa mga malalamig like yung mga polar bears, even though malamig doon, nami-maintain pa rin nila yung body temperature nila kasi nga they are considered as endothermic animals, which is mas makapal yung balat nila, and through that nami-maintain nila yung balance with the heat of their internal temperature at mas nami-maintain din yung process nung enzyme. Kalawa, substrate concentration. So, substrate concentration refers to the amount of substrate molecules available for chemical reaction. For the chemical to begin, molecules must be collide. So, again, para mag-start yung chemical reaction na tinatawag natin or catalytic reaction or chemical reaction na yan, catalytic chemical reaction na yan, it needs to be collided with apoenzyme and then cofactors. If ever kulang yung cofactors, definitely there is no chances, there is lower chances of catalytic reactions na mangyari. If ever naman po pag sobrang dami, syempre mas madami yung activities na magagawa ng enzyme natin with regards to catalytic reactions. Next one po is the optimal pH. Each enzyme also has an optimal pH level to reach its maximum reaction rate. If the pH level continues to increase, the enzymatic reaction begins to decline. Okay, each pH value has specific structural configuration for the enzyme. Again, as the enzyme po nag-take place siya with different kinds of the body, parts of the body. So, meron tayong mga kinds of enzyme na makita natin sa pancreas. They have a certain optimal pH level to maintain to perform well. Kasi if ever, pag naging acidic or mas mataas yung optimal pH na meron, definitely madedeform si coenzyme or si proenzyme at hindi na siya makapag-collide with subfactors or cofactors po pala. So, which means may stop yung catalytic chemical reaction process na meron tayo. Nextly is enzymes cofactors. Some enzymes needs the additions of inorganic ions or coenzymes to help speed up the rates of reaction. These are small organic molecules in trace amount that can promote enzymatic activities. They help bind with substrates to active such sites or participate in the reaction in active sites. So, vitamins either become parts of coenzyme molecular structure or become coenzyme themselves. So, si enzymes cofactors, ito yung pinaka-mainly na need natin para ma-activate yung proenzyme natin. But somehow, there are kinds of cofactors na sobrang liit, kaya kailangan pang mag-add pa ng additional cofactors. So, ganito po. We have the apoenzymes and we have the cofactors and substrate. So, we have to add pa with other coenzymes pa if ever kulang para mas mapabilis pa yung activation process. Next one is the enzyme inhibitor. There are instances when enzymes actively should be limited. So, the molecules that binds to enzymes to decrease its activity is called the enzyme inhibitor. And the end product itself may be used as the inhibitor. Enzyme inhibition is important in controlling enzymatic reaction because once the body has completed the necessary chemical process, enzymatic reaction have to stop. So, again po, kapag nakapag-bond na sila at nakapag-produce na ng enzymatic chemical reaction, syempre, dapat mag-stop na yung enzyme. And then, continuous lang din po with the other parts of enzyme na pagbaband. So, yun lang po yung pinaka-main topic natin. But again, I'm gonna discuss this kasama nung BMR. Personally, kasi si BMR po ay computation. So, napakahirap niyang i-discuss through online. Kaya, puputulin ko siya. Then, we're going to discuss this again personally in face-to-face classes. Hopefully, next week, okay na tayo with the weather. So, yun po. I-discuss ko siya with the calculations and will give some certain activities with that. Thank you po.